They would have never have thought that a bank would come and sit down with them at their house for 10 minutes just to socialize and see how their day was.
Estate plans can be very, very simple, or they can be very, very complex. So it depends if you own a business or you just have a couple of people you want to leave things to. Blended families, that's a huge one.
You want to achieve a certain outcome, and you want people that you trust to be able to help you do that, right?
And I think being a small town community bank, we're going to be there for our community. We're going to keep the doors open, and we're going to be available for our customers when they need us.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chimes and Dimes, brought to you by First Wealth and Trust of Winter Garden. I'm Pete Botch, the Chief Investment Officer at First Wealth and Trust here, and I'm joined on this episode by Alice Taft, Vice President and Trust Officer, and John Pease, who is the President of our organization. We first want to thank the Winter Garden Art Association and Sobo Gallery for providing this space for us to broadcast from. The Winter Garden Art Association is a 501c3 nonprofit that has the objective of expanding public access to art by maintaining a facility and programs that nurture and foster the individual and growth in the arts. The Sobo Gallery is located here on South Boyd Street, here in historic downtown Winter Garden. So before we dive into the podcast, let's get people familiar with First Wealth and Trust in Winter Garden. What should people be knowing about us, I suppose? Maybe we'll start with you, John.
Yeah, First Wealth and Trust was developed, we started a little over a year ago, piggybacked off First National Bank in Mount Dora. We felt there was a need here in Winter Garden for trust administration services. We've done this in the past up in Leesburg and felt it'd be a good opportunity to bring our services down here to Winter Garden as well.
Yeah. And
I live here, so it's a great opportunity for me to help develop this area and help educate people on what they need to do in estate planning and our trust services and probate and you'll name it, we'll do it.
So I've been tied to this community for a number of years. I attended Lakeview Junior High School back in the, I believe it was 86. So I know the area pretty well, and I'm pretty glad to be down in this area as well. You just mentioned a lot about trust business and some terms. How about what is a trust business? And I'll start with you. I know that you're going to have some stuff here too, but.
Yeah, so what we do is we help the client achieve what estate plan they need and arrive at the area in which the attorney needs to draft a trust. We don't draft a trust. We're not attorneys, thank goodness. But so we get that ready for them, and the attorneys like it because it saves them time and money to get that done. And then we can be named in the document and serve as trust administrators.
Okay. Dialing it up a level. I mean, for the people that maybe don't know, they think, hey, I need to be, Jed Clampett to have a trust or something like that. Somebody that's got a lot of wealth that I don't know what to do with. What is a trust in the first place? Well,
I would look at it as not necessarily the size of your estate or the size of your wealth, but it's protection. It's private. If you decide to go the route with a will, that gets filed in the courts. It's public. So the public can see where your assets will be distributed at your demise. It's customizable. You can determine where you want your assets delivered out when you're not here. And it also can help you if you are incapacitated or you don't have the ability to handle your financial affairs. We can step in as trustee and help you with those matters as well.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I think, John, one of the main things is that incompetency issue. A lot of people run into that as they age, and having a trust solves that problem.
Yeah, my understanding is, that document that you referenced tells us as trust administrators, or, me as the investment guy, what we're supposed to be doing with those assets on behalf of the beneficiaries, those individuals that are going to inherit them. Is that correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Yep. So I guess, we jumped the gun a little bit and started talking about the what. How about we talk about the who? John, you're the senior ranking member here. Why don't you give us some of your background?
Yeah. So I oversee the trust department. Obviously, work with staff, administration. Alice is in administration. Pete, yourself is in investments. We also have in the back office an operational department. And that's the nice thing about our shop is, we don't outsource anything. Everything's done in-house. If you have a tax question or you need a referral to an attorney, you go see your trust officer. If you need investment advice or what to do with some money that you were just inherited, you come see Pete and the investment team. If there's a problem with your statement or a problem with just anything in the back office sense, a dividend didn't post correctly, or you didn't see an asset in your statement, we can reach out to our operations department and get that handled. So, and then, with that, although I run the department, we're a privately owned bank. We've got a good set of directors there that oversee all of our policies and procedures. And so everything just runs smoothly from top to bottom.
Yeah, and I think that level of integration of our offering is really something that sets us apart. Most of our peers don't have that. On the personal level, how long have you been involved with this business? What's your background as far as with respect to First Wealth and Trust, and maybe, backing it up a level at the First National Bank?
Sure. I'm born and raised in Mount Dora, so I've got ties to Mount Dora. Went to high school there, came back from college, started working at the bank right out of college back in 1998. So I've got a lot of history there with the bank, being there over 25 years. But my dad has been working there, recently retired. My great grandfather was at the bank in the 20s. My cousin works there now. So I've got a lot of family tradition there as well. Didn't really know what a trust department did going through college, and didn't think I'd be working with my dad. Thought I'd go into some other field. But I took an investment course, and Dad said, "Hey, that's kind of what we do in the trust department." Did an internship there, and decided that that was the direction I wanted to take, and started at the very bottom, worked in operations, worked as an assistant in the administrative field. Then I moved into investments and was mentored by a gentleman that was with the bank for over 40 years and took over when he retired.
Absolutely. And how about you, Alice?
I'm from Missouri, but I spent 25 years doing what I do in Missouri. So I've been here about 7 years. And when I came down, I just didn't think I'd have another community bank like I worked at in Missouri. And sure enough, there's one right there in Mount Dora that I started working at, and got my certified trust and fiduciary advisor and accredited estate planner certificates, and went to work. So it's been a great time. And, I'm on a personal side, I've got 3 kids, 2 grandkids, 1 on the way. And it's a great time to be in Florida.
Yeah, agreed. And, my background, I've been involved with investments for a long, long time. A lot like you, John. I didn't think I was going to grow up doing what my dad did, and he was an economist, and here I am. Most of the work I do revolves around economy and investing. But I've been with the bank now 12 years, and it's been a really, really great time and an exciting period of growth, and especially now as we're moving into, the Winter Garden area, which, I have some ties to as well. Background started out in trading and then moved into investments later on afterwards. And I lead the team as far as picking out the individual investments. See, these guys kind of tell us how we need to get to a certain place, or where we need to get in terms of planning for the clients. And my team figures out how we're going to do that in the best way, essentially. So, with all of that, let's talk about this podcast, the Chimes and Dimes. Where did this come from, and what are we trying to accomplish with this?
Maybe let Alice start.
Let Alice do it? Yeah, put you on the spot.
I'll chime in.
Yeah.
I guess it was kind of my idea. Let's do a podcast in Winter Garden. Why? Because I live down here and I see people all the time that have questions about estate planning. And the best way to get to the people these days, I believe, is social media. And I think it's going to be a great tool to help educate people, get some answers to them, whether they need to come in and see us or not. We're still educating. And, I'm right down here on Plant Street. If anybody wants to call and talk, we're there. And I think it's going to be a great idea. And hopefully Pete will head this off great.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we can do. Keep our fingers crossed on that one. Actually dialing it up a bit. Why do we choose this name, Chimes and Dimes? Well, it's kind of a nod to the clock tower, which is specific to the community. And we want to kind of show, hey, we're committed, we're based here, but we are available to everybody. We're out there, like she said, providing an educational platform and somewhere where we can really translate Wall Street into Main Street for a lot of folks that maybe need that.
No, I'm not big into social media like I should be, but I know that's an aspect in marketing that we need to be in. And so that is definitely out of my comfort zone, but but enjoying it so far.
Yeah. So when we decided to do this, how long ago was that? I mean, this didn't just happen yesterday. This is kind of a long road here.
Probably 6 months or better that we've been talking about doing this and trying to figure out how we're going to do this and who's going to speak. And somehow I got stuck speaking. I'm not sure how. But so, yeah, I think our topics coming up are going to be good. We're going to have some attorneys and some CPAs. And, we've got your investment team is going to dive into a lot of details that we may or may not want to know about.
Yeah.
Debatable. Yeah. I mean, sure. I think, what we're really trying to do again is to provide that. And we've got, this is a big world, trusts, that can be done for a variety of reasons. Like you said, each of those is nuanced. There are different teams of advisory people, like the attorneys and the accountants and everybody else that kind of always has to work together. And it's an arcane topic that we can make a little bit simpler, which is really why we're doing that. I know that's what I'm hoping that people take from this podcast is, these topics are a little bit arcane, but there are people out there that understand it and can explain it to us. So my team in particular, we do, like you said, get into some of these concepts, and it's going to sound a little wordy if we go in too deep, but they're really simple when you dig past all of the jargon. And that's what we aim to do too. And on your side, I mean, anything to add to that or?
No, estate plans can be very, very simple or they can be very, very complex. So it depends if you own a business or you just have a couple of people you want to leave things to, blended families. That's a huge one. The topics are just mountainous. It can be anything you want it to be.
Sure. And then with that said, at the end of the day, everything's really simple. You want to achieve a certain outcome and you want people that you trust to be able to help you do that, right?
Right.
Yeah. In the end, I mean, we're taking care of their assets when they're not here or they're not able.
Yeah.
And we can do that, while they're here with us and work with them through their plan, give them a comfort level that when they are gone, their assets are in good care, in good hands with us. And we're going to do with them pretty much what they told us to do through the document.
Gotcha. All right. One of the questions that comes up, about trust and all of this, estate planning, many people think that this is something for the very wealthy families that are out there with generational wealth, or maybe it's somebody that won the lottery and doesn't know what to do with that, and maybe it's not just for that group. We're thinking, this is something for the everyday people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't just do trust work. We do IRAs, we do special needs trust, which falls in the trust category. We do investment management, where if you did win the lottery and you don't have an estate plan yet, you may want to come see us and see you, Pete, and say, hey, what do I need to do with these funds until I figure out my estate plan or my financial plan? Somewhere to house the assets for you and let it work for you while you're working on that plan. And you don't have to win the lottery to come see us. So, we're a small town bank in a small community. We love helping everybody that walks in that door. Yeah. So whether you have $5 million or $5,000, starting that IRA as a student or someone just planning to start their retirement funding, we're there for them. We're affordable. And we just want to make sure we can help everybody in the community with their financial needs. Absolutely. And to kind of dovetail on that and give people a better idea, what does something like that cost? I mean, someone goes to see an attorney, they want an estate plan drafted. That's not tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, potentially maybe, but what is it in reality for a family, Yeah,
an average person, I would say, runs $1,500 to $3,000. You could get it done pretty easily. There are attorneys that charge $15,000, but don't know that you need that. A lot of times you don't. So it does vary over the board. The beauty of what we do is we talk to you, you sit down with us, and we get that plan in order for the attorney. You don't have to name us in your document. We love it if you do, because we like to do that work. But it does help things along, because you don't want to spend, 15 appointments at an attorney's office. We can get you lined out pretty quickly and easily and in a memo draft type form for the attorney. So it's a win-win for everyone, and we don't charge for that. Yeah, that's a good point. I get that all the time is, okay, I'm going to go meet with my attorney. I'm going to get my documents drafted.
what do I owe you
Mhm.
as the trustee? I was like, well, we're not technically trustee yet. We step in when you're not able, and we don't charge you anything until that event.
Yeah.
And the event is typically either, death or, not being able to handle your finances. So it's kind of like a light bulb switch kicks on. We're like, oh, so I don't have to pay you. And all this is just sitting in trust until we take over. And that's exactly how it works. But the other key thing, and the attorneys stress this, is once you draft your trust, you need to make sure you fund it. And you need to make sure you put your assets in the name of the trust. Otherwise, the worst thing that could happen is you spent that money with the attorney drafting that trust document. And if you pass away without putting those assets in trust, it would all go to probate and it would all be for nothing. So, so we don't charge anything until we actually do the work.
And that's great. And I think there was one point that got brought up in that little line of discussion that probably needs a little bit of more elaboration. What does being named in the document mean as far as, us as a trustee?
Yeah, you can name us as successor trustee. So if something happens to you or you become incapacitated, we step in and take over. You can name us as co-trustee with a family member. A lot of times that works out really well because, the family's there to kind of help us with what's going on in the family life. And we're there to do the financial part, it's awesome because, we get to know the family that way and it works out really well.
Yeah.
And that's a good point too. I just actually had a customer come in. She was named successor trustee on her parents' trust and had two other siblings, and they don't get along. And then here you have the family member trying to do the right thing. You have siblings arguing about how things are getting divided. That we kind of make their life easier when we step in as the corporate trustee. We don't have any bias one way or the other. The parents know that we're going to take care of their children when they die, and we're going to do it fairly and to the book. So it kind of takes that stress off of those children that may have to step in as successor trustee.
Indeed. And that's great. I mean, I've seen money interfere with lots of relationships. That's a good point that you make. One last thing that I do want to bring up on this segment, since it's kind of in the background out there, there's a lot of talk out there on the street about a fiduciary versus another type of advisor. Maybe we should talk about that for just a second. What is it that we do?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've got it. Yeah, I was going to say,
I'll do it.
Perfect.
I'll
hand that over to you first.
We are a fiduciary. We don't make commissions where, like John said, we're not making money, when we were making recommendations. Now, when we go ahead and actually do work, we do charge our fees, as they've talked about. So, but the idea of fiduciary means we stand in the client's shoes and we're responsible to make the best decisions from that perspective. So one of the things that folks sometimes wonder too is, what's the real benefit to working with a community bank like us or a community organization like, First Wealth and Trust versus working with one of the big firms that are out of New York or Chicago or something like that? Either of you want to jump on that?
Yeah, I'll go first. I've got a few examples. One, you call us, we're going to answer the phone. If it goes to voicemail, it's because we're either closed or on the other line, but you're going to get somebody on that phone to help you out. Two, as I mentioned, we insource everything. So if there's an issue, we can get you the right department. You're going to get your matters taken care of over the phone instantly. And three, I'll just bring up an example that a lot of our clients appreciated was back in 2020 during the pandemic.
Remember that.
All the big banks were locking their doors and not taking clients, and everything was done by phone or by Zoom. And we never closed our doors.
That's right.
There weren't many customers that wanted to come in, but those that did, we met with them.
We met with them,
and that meant a lot to them. I mean, this is their nest egg. This is their finances and their savings. They want to be able to meet with us. And I think being a small town community bank with a board that is very service oriented, we're going to be there for our community. We're going to keep the doors open. We've gone through the Great Depression back in the 1920s. The bank's been here over 100 years now. Trust department, I think, has been over 60 years now. So we're going to be here providing trust services for the long term. And we're going to be available for our customers when they need us.
Yeah.
And what's nice too, you not only get one person, one trust officer, you have free reign with the whole amount of trust officers we have at that given time. So if something should happen to me, or if I'm not there, there's another officer to step in and handle whatever it is that needs to be handled. So, and, we've got clients all over the world, John,
Right.
and, they do that because they can call us or email us and get the answers that they need right away. So I
They
had
could show up at the front door and we're here to handle it.
I had one today that said, "Hey, Alice, I'm going to be in Florida in December," and they live in South Africa, and I need a debit card while I'm there. I'm like, okay, so we need to get an account open for you, and so we're working on that today, and it's great because she's going to get what she needs while she's here, and everything's good.
Yeah, I think coming from a big firm background, I've seen the places there's a lot of red tape, whereas here we're a cohesive team, and you got administration working closely with investments. We make sure we get the right package for the right client, whereas other places are maybe putting clients into a pre-existing package. We're customizing them because of our size and because of our focus, like you said.
Right. And our staff's vested as well. I mean, like I said, I was born and raised here. We've got a number of staff members that went to college here and grew up here and have working here. So they've got a vested interest in the community as well. And they know a lot of people, and just the outreach we have for the community and the accessibility, I think, sets us apart from those larger firms.
Absolutely. Yeah, why do we do what we do? We all love what we do. The bank is a really great place to work. First Wealth and Trust is a really great place to work. For me, it's the ability to customize what I'm doing in the investment world to help the clients achieve their goals. That's something that's just not possible, in my opinion, anywhere else. How about you, Alice?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people realize that maybe it's the elderly or the older people that are doing estate planning, and it's really not. I met with a younger couple that work at a hospital, and they were wanting some estate planning done. Also wanted to learn about retirement. So, it's about helping them. It's also about helping the elderly. We just, feel connected to the community that way, and we're here to help in any way we can. And especially, Mount Dora Community Trust is also part of the First National Bank of Mount Dora. So we provide a lot of services for the community through that trust as well. And we could also do that here in Winter Garden.
That would be fantastic. John, any add?
Maybe just going back to the small town feel. You know a lot of people in the community. You want that reputation that we're there for them. We're going to help them. I know Alice was talking about the younger generation. I've dealt more with the elderly, and it just. I guess the feeling I get when I go over there just to deliver the mail that maybe didn't get sent to the right spot, or go pick up some documents for them at the attorney's office, or sit down with them and help them go over things, and I don't know, it's just rewarding to me. As simple as it may seem to Alice and I for what we're doing, when you leave there, they're just so excited that you were there to spend the time with them. Yeah. They would have never have thought that a bank would come and sit down with them at their house for 10 minutes just to socialize and see how their day was. So I think, more on the caring side of the service level, really, I think gets me more than probably for you. It'd be the investment area, seeing their assets grow.
Well, there's that, but there's the connection, you get to see what you've done for people. Yeah. Them. They're not a number. That's meaningful for me too. But yeah, it does come down to that too a bit.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've got, I think we've got the bases covered here. I will say that we've got an exciting program lined up over the next couple of months. We're going to be talking about, the actual nuts and bolts of why estate planning and how that works in one of these. We're going to be talking about the investment climate. We're going to be talking about playing out the long game, which is what we've called that one, which says, hey, we got long-term goals, and we're going to figure out, what are the best ways to achieve those. And these are cool topics. We're looking forward to covering them with you guys. Thanks to everyone who's been watching and listening to this. Remember too, though, if we've talked about anything complex like legal planning and tax planning, trusts, investments, things of that nature, any sort of talk about that has to be really tailored to an individual before you take any action based on it. So Don't be of the mindset of, oh, I heard that on Chimes and Dimes and I think I should go out and do that. You really want to contact us. You want to contact your attorney or accountant and so forth to get the real what's precisely good for me. With that, thanks, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.